everybody. Jim Arroyo here, Oath Keepers of Yavapai County, still the largest active group in the United States, and president of the YCPT, Yavapai County Preparedness Team. Welcome back to our Prescott E-News video section. Here comes part two, as promised, on what we're titling More on Parallel Economy. Guys, there is so much information out there. This is one of the subjects I am most passionate about, if you haven't figured that out by now. More than security, more than guns, more than all of the gunsmithing I do. The economy is such an unbelievable subject matter to look into, especially this day and age, because this is of an historic nature. This is the kind of thing that when the United States goes through its collapse, it's going to be on par with Weimar Germany, with Hungary, with Zimbabwe. All of that stuff you see around the world, it's coming to a theater near you. We're here to help guide you as best we can. So, okay, guys, here we go. This is more on the meat and potatoes on using gold and silver specifically. Okay? Everyone talks about gold and silver on YouTube, but very few get into the practical application of its use. And in a nutshell, your precious metals will replace the US dollar, at least for a certain amount of time, until the government can reconfigure our currency, whether that be a CBDC or a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Monero, Ethereum. Anything is possible right now. They're going to try every trick in the book. Bottom line is we're headed for hyperinflation one way or another. Two ways that can happen. One, the government panics and prints money. That's generally the rule. All of them do the same stupid thing. They turn on the printing presses thinking they're going to solve the problem, knowing darn well that is not going to work. The second way is when everybody starts dumping their treasuries and starts bringing their cash back into the United States to buy up whatever they can, whether it's real estate, commercial businesses, whatever. That money's going to come back in. That's further going to add cash to the system, which will also hyperinflate our currency. So either way, this thing is going to go sideways at a rapid pace. Our theory is they're going to pull a stunt prior to the election. Let's just talk really quick about something political. It was just announced that Donald Trump's sentencing hearing, which was scheduled for September the 18th, has been postponed until after the election. I believe it's going to be November the 10th or the 12th, right in there. The election's on the 5th, so it's going to be after the election. How that's going to look, I don't know. But I can tell you right now, they weren't bringing all those National Guardsmen into New York City for no reason at all. So they're getting prepared for something big. So what's going to happen with an alternative from the government? We can't tell you yet because we don't have any hard data. We know what they're thinking. We know they want a central bank digital currency so the Fed can control everything. We know they're looking at Bitcoin real heavy right now. A female representative, I forget her name, doesn't matter, just plug it into a search engine. U.S. government wants to buy Bitcoin, and it'll come up. There's an article there, and that's one thing they're planning on doing. They think they're going to cut the fat hog by waiting for Bitcoin to max out. The government wants to buy up all the remaining coins and then drive the price up and use it to pay down the debt. I don't believe that for a minute. This government's never been interested in paying down the debt, and this certainly is not going to work either. So don't even think about that. It's stupid to even talk about it. So what are we going to do? Well, we have a precious metals team. I assembled a team of the best people I could find within our organization, including professionals in the industry of selling gold and silver, to war game out every possible scenario and come up with ways to help you, the general public, get through this economic disaster. Now, we put this out all the time. Guys, we're not financial planners. We're not economists. We are not financial advisors. We're not certified public accountants. We are researchers and analysts. We look at what's going on in the world. We look at the values of metals, what's driving the prices, and then we analyze where this is going to go. When I'm talking about the BRICS nations trashing our economy, that is all based on actual evidence that can be verified online easily. The Chinese and the Russians are hell-bent for glory on trashing our economy. Now, I need to make a quick correction. In one of my prior videos, I had mentioned that in the BRICS nation that China and Russia and India were 2/3 of the world's population. It's not that big. What I meant to say is 1/3. So when you add up the total populations of those three countries, and then if you just take all five, it certainly is 1/3 of the population. Here's the deal. They've added 5 or 6 more countries now, and well over 100 countries want to join the BRICS. Guys, they're going to take over the planet. No two ways about it. This is Pinky in the Brain stuff, okay? What are we going to do today, Brain? Same thing we always do. Plan to take over the world, and they're doing it. It is absolutely going down, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop it. They are sick to death of the U.S. government controlling their finances and putting sanctions on them. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, they're fed up with it. And they want their own currency, they want their own gold, they want their own corporations. They don't want to put up with any of this crap. This is why oil is being traded for other than US dollars, which was part of Bretton Woods. It is now being traded within currencies. For example, Indian rupees are being accepted, Chinese yuan, Russian rubles are being traded for oil. The Saudis don't care. They want a currency that's going to be stable. And apparently ours is not looking too stable, obviously. So our team that we put together is studying all of this so we can pass on, let's just call it what it is, actionable intelligence, okay? We gather information, and what you're getting right now from me is actionable intelligence. It is information we produce into an intelligence package that we can pass on to you, the individual. You're not the consumer because you're not buying it from me. I'm giving it to you for free. So you can check this stuff out. I always give you references of where we get a lot of the information, and that way you can verify that we're telling you as accurately as we possibly can. We meet once a week with our precious metals team to war game out the solutions to problems, but we need your help with this because there are other solutions we cannot do on our own. We have a series of documents that we have produced and published. It's on our MeWe page, and they're now transferred onto our website. On MeWe, you go to Yavapai County Preparedness Team, go to groups, and just type in gold and silver info, and that group will come up, and you'll see all of our documents are posted there. And we actually have documents on approaching business owners about how the scenario that we have will play out, and ask them if they're willing to accept, if the dollar collapses, gold and silver in exchange for their goods and or services. It's that simple. If you're not sure how to approach it, read the document, take it with you. We actually have documents to just hand to a business owner. We have a new one that we just posted on dealing with Bitcoin and also goldbacks. If you're not sure what a goldback is, just go to goldback.com and look to see. We'll probably end up doing some good stuff, videos on the goldbacks. Right now we don't have one in Arizona, but the ones that have been created are usable in Arizona. So there's a lot of stuff out there that you may or may not be aware of that we will help guide you as rapidly as we can. Because this is coming so quickly, we don't have any time to waste. To say time is of the essence, it would be an understatement of the year. The election is coming. We believe they're going to pull a stunt before the election. If that's the case, you need to be ready. Anything can happen. The dollar can collapse much quicker if they all dump their treasuries at the same time. And there has been talk behind the scenes of the BRICS nations getting together and deciding, you know what, if we all get rid of them at once, we won't get burned. If one guy dumps all of his and then the others start to collapse, somebody at the end might get burned. If they all dump them at one time, yeah, they might get away with it. I don't know. But it's hard to say. Okay, where can this is something came up the other day. Some lady said, well, where can I use my 1965 silver coins right now? Well, there's a few places already that are accepting them. There's one gun store in Chino Valley that'll take gold and silver in exchange for guns and ammo and accessories. Farmers markets are beginning to take pre-1965 silver coins in exchange for their goods. It's not just produce. There's all kinds of things that farmers produce. And this is going on all over the country. This is not the first time I'm hearing about it in Arizona, but this has been going on for probably a couple years now back east, where farmers markets are taking silver in exchange for goods. All right? This is not monopoly money, guys. This is real money. This is God's money. This stuff's only been around since the beginning of the world. It has only been used in trade for thousands of years. Why do people think that this is something new and unusual? It's not. When we're talking about pre-1965 coins, we're talking about coins people carried in their pockets at that time period and exchanged it for goods and services. Of course, back then, a dime was worth a whole lot more in buying power. I saw a great sign the other day that was posted inside of a gas station. It was probably a small independent that says gas, 20 cents a gallon, if paid in pre-1965 silver dimes. So 2 silver dimes worth roughly $2 each dime is right about average of what fuel was going for, about $4 a gallon. Okay, luckily here in our place, in our area, it's a little less, but that's about the average out there. Some places a little higher, but if you think about it, those 2 dimes, their buying power today is what it was in 1965 when gas was 25 cents, 30 cents a gallon. So think about it. We as a preparedness community need to push this. This is important. We are going to be the innovators in all of this. It's going to happen in such a way where people will literally, and we've seen this in other countries recently, even Cuba, in Lebanon, the people wake up one day and the banks are closed and they can't get their money. Okay? There's no warning. They don't call you a week in advance and say, hey, you might want to come and get your cash out of the bank because we're going to lock our doors in a week. It doesn't work that way, guys. The bank just locks the doors. They don't tell you anything. All right? There are 2 things you need to keep in mind, and I've talked about this before. It's called a bailout or a bail-in. All right? A bailout is when the government gives money to the banks to keep them solvent, to keep it afloat. That's a bailout. A bail-in is when the bank seizes the assets of the depositors and they use that to keep their bank afloat. If you think this sounds like it's illegal, read your contract. All right? It's really simple. That is not your money once you put it on the counter and give it to that teller. You are loaning that to the bank as an unsecured loan. It is theirs to do with as they please. If they lose it, that's too bad for you. That's just the way it works. So this is all about planting seeds right now. Just a metaphor, not because we're on the subject of farmers markets, but think about it. We want to plant the seeds in the minds of the local community, the business owners. We also have a document of what to give to people, to your average citizen out there who doesn't understand what all of this represents. And we have a document and a script you can hand to them and show them and help them understand where we're going, so that if you were to hand them a handful of coins, they know what it's worth and what to do with it. So bottom line is, this all has to happen before the collapse happens. If we wait till afterwards, it's going to get a little dicey. All right? We're still going to continue to march until they shut us down and I can't produce a video or I can't hold a meeting. We're going to continue to do this as best we can, but right now is the time. Get on it. Focus on the small businesses, not the big corporate ones. Don't go into Walmart and say, hey, will you take my pre-65? It's not probably going to work. All right? You want to talk to the small business owners. They will understand. Eventually, the big boys will also get on board, or they simply will just lose money because they're not going to be able to conduct business. All right? Without the central bank digital currency, without a crypto, or all of these people with their PayPal or their Venmo or their Apple Pay and all this garbage they use their cell phones for, when that gets shut down or there's a communications breach out there, they're not going to be able to do anything. The guy with a handful of silver coins can walk into the store at a local mom and pop and walk out of there with something. Whereas the other guy, yeah, that's not going to happen. So remember, gold and silver are sound money. It's real money used for thousands of years. We're not coming up with a concept that is brand new. This is historic. It has been done before. All we're going to do, and why we call it a parallel economy, is when this economy collapses, over here, this just keeps moving. That's the idea. All right? It's a parallel economy. We're not replacing it. We're just going to have something else we can use. If the dollar collapses, we've got something of value that we can use. So again, for thousands of years, this has been done. So I'm going to close with this. If we're nuts, if we're crazy talking about gold and silver and people out there saying that gold has no intrinsic value, I want to ask one simple question. Why are central banks stockpiling gold like they have never done before? You can go back and go online and look at the documents that list how much gold each central bank has been accumulating, and look at the record numbers they've set in the last 2 years. All right? By the end of this year, it'll be higher. They are stockpiling gold for a reason. They know what's coming. A collapse is imminent. All right, guys, that's what I've got. If you have any questions, you've got the phone number there. You've got the website. You know what to do. Contact us, but do something. Don't sit around and do nothing, or you are going to get wiped out. All right, guys, that's it. That's what I got. We'll catch you on the next one.